This wasn't supposed to happen. Rich countries were supposed to be safe. They were supposed to grow forever. People believed that if a nation was rich, its citizens would never feel poor. That belief shaped generations. Parents told children that life would be better. Governments promised progress. Economists promised stability. But today, in the richest countries on earth, people feel anxious, exhausted, and financially trapped. Something is clearly wrong. People are working harder than ever, yet they feel poorer. They earn money, but it disappears faster than it comes. Rent eats half their income. Food costs more every year. Healthcare feels like a luxury. Education feels like a lifetime burden. This feeling is not imagination. It is real. And it is growing. The biggest lie is that rich countries are still rich. Yes, their numbers are big, their GDP looks strong, their stock markets reach record highs, but numbers do not feed families. Numbers do not reduce stress. Numbers do not create security. Wealth on paper is not the same as wealth in real life. Decades ago, rich countries produced real things. They built factories, machines, homes, and infrastructure. Jobs were stable. Wages grew slowly but surely. One income could support a family. Savings meant something. The system rewarded patience and effort. Then the system changed. Quietly, slowly. Without public debate, money became easier to create. Governments learned they could borrow instead of fixing problems. Debt became normal, then necessary, then permanent. Every crisis was solved with more borrowing. Instead of building stronger systems, leaders chose faster solutions. At first, borrowing felt harmless. People still lived well. Life looked normal, but debt does not disappear. It only waits. When countries borrow, they are borrowing from the future. From workers who are not even born yet, from children who will pay higher taxes, face inflation, and accept fewer services. But no one explained this honestly. Instead, people were told not to worry. Debt was called manageable. Inflation was called temporary, and every warning was ignored. At the same time, rich countries stopped making things. Factories moved abroad. Production became cheaper, but jobs disappeared. Skills vanished. Communities collapsed. What replaced them was finance, services, and speculation. Homes became investments, not places to live. Companies cared more about stock prices than workers. Profits went up. Wages did not. This created the illusion of growth. The country looked richer, but the people became weaker. To survive, people borrowed. Credit cards replaced savings. Loans replaced income growth. Debt replaced hope. The system depended on people staying in debt because debt keeps people working, quiet, and dependent. Then inflation arrived. Prices rose everywhere. Not because people became greedy, but because money lost value. Inflation quietly stole purchasing power. Without a law, without a vote, suddenly middle-class life felt fragile. A single emergency could destroy everything. Trust in the system began to fade. Rich countries did not become poor overnight. They became poor slowly, silently, and legally. And this was only the beginning. Once debt takes control, freedom shrinks. Governments stop asking what people need and start asking what markets want. Policies are no longer made for citizens. They are made to protect confidence, credit ratings, and financial stability. This is where the real shift happens. Governments no longer serve people first. They serve debt first. When money is tight, leaders do not cut waste at the top. They cut services at the bottom. Healthcare budgets shrink. Education becomes expensive. Public systems weaken. People are told to adjust. At the same time, banks and corporations are protected. When they fail, they are rescued. When people fail, they are blamed. This creates anger but also confusion. People feel something is unfair, but they cannot clearly see why. Media distracts them. Politics divides them. Real causes stay hidden. Productivity continues to rise. Technology improves. Workers produce more than ever before. But their pay does not reflect this. The extra value flows upward, not outward. This is why rich countries feel poorer. Growth no longer benefits the majority. It benefits a small group that controls assets, money, and influence. Currencies also change quietly. Money loses value slowly, not suddenly. People notice it only when life becomes harder. Savings shrink. Retirement feels impossible. Planning becomes meaningless. Governments claim control, but they are trapped. They cannot stop borrowing without crashing the system. They cannot raise interest rates without pain. They cannot print money without inflation. Every choice hurts the public, so leaders delay, they manage decline instead of fixing it. Meanwhile, social trust breaks. People stop believing in institutions. Young generations feel cheated. They work more and receive less. The future feels closed. This creates a dangerous situation. When people lose economic security, they become vulnerable to fear, anger, and manipulation. History has shown this many times. Rich countries are not collapsing because they are weak. They are collapsing because their systems reward short-term profit over long-term survival. Debt, inflation, inequality, and financial control are not accidents. They are the result of incentives. And incentives do not change easily. Unless the system itself changes, the pressure will continue to grow. In part 3, the final part, the story will reach its most disturbing point. Where this is heading, who benefits from collapse, and why the system may not be designed to be saved at all. This story was never meant to have a happy ending. Not because collapse is natural, but because the system was never built to protect everyone. It was built to protect itself, and now that system is reaching its limits. Rich countries are not falling apart suddenly. They are being slowly drained. Every year, people give more and receive less. They pay higher prices, higher taxes, and carry more stress. In return, they get weaker services, unstable jobs, and an uncertain future. The most painful part is this. Many people still believe things will return to normal, that this is temporary, that the system will fix itself. But systems do not heal on their own. They follow incentives, and the incentives today reward debt, control, and short-term profit. Governments are trapped. If they stop borrowing, the economy freezes. If they keep borrowing, inflation eats the future. Either way, the cost is paid by ordinary people. This is why leaders speak carefully, promise reforms, and then do very little. Meanwhile, wealth continues to move upward. Assets grow in value. Wages do not. Those who own property, stocks, and businesses survive inflation. Those who live on income do not. This creates a permanent divide. As trust collapses, people turn against each other instead of the system. Politics becomes emotional. Society becomes polarized. Real solutions disappear in noise and fear. This is not a failure of people. It is a failure of design. The system teaches people to consume, borrow, and compete, but never to understand how power works. It keeps citizens busy surviving, so they never ask the most important questions. Who controls money? Who benefits from debt? Who decides the rules? Until those questions are asked, nothing changes. The future of rich countries depends on awareness, not promises, on understanding, not slogans, on people realizing that real wealth is not numbers on a screen, but stability, dignity, and control over one's life. History shows that when people finally understand the system, change becomes possible. Not easy, not fast, but possible. This documentary is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. Because once you see the pattern, you can no longer unsee it. The question is not whether rich countries are becoming poor. The question is how long people will accept it.